Folks, what the crap's going on? Heir of Carthage here, and I have got a good one for you today. We have got Greek Iraklis playing as Bactria, going up against James, playing as Sparta. I believe I've got the sides right here, and it's going to be an exciting one. Hey folks, are you needing a new gaming chair or desk? Well, make sure you check out eWin Racing. They're sponsoring the channel. I've got some of their awesome products. They work great for me. Right now is the Cyber Week sale. If you use code AIR, you can get 20% off. I've got a link down in the description. Make sure you go check it out if you need yourself a new gaming desk or chair. Sparta, obviously a Greek faction, a little bit different than some of the other Greek factions. They have some really tough hoplites. Hoplites, a very defensive unit, but Sparta does have some options in terms of decent skirmishing capability. Their slingers are better than the barbarian slingers, and they have these helot archers here as well. So they do have some skirmishing capability. There's a few Tarentine cavalry behind some citizen cavalry, and then we've got some Perioikoi spears here in the back to do some guarding. Gorgos skirmishers as well, so a tough slinger unit. Let's see where the commander's right here in the middle in a Royal Spartan unit. A Royal Spartan is one of the few spear units that has this spear that can do 30 weapon damage, so it's a little bit better. Bactria is kind of a mixed faction. They're kind of a Greek and Eastern faction mixed. We're going to see some Levy pikemen, thorax swords. So Levy pikes and thorax swords for an interesting mixed front. The thorax swords are obviously a little more versatile, and the pikemen a lot stronger from the front only. But Levy pikes, it's going to be low leadership, so something to be careful of. There's some Bactrian light horse that's going to be rolling around. The general is in an Indian armored elephant, a supremely powerful unit at killing infantry if it can stay away from javelins or heavy missile fire. It will be extremely deadly. Citizen cavalry over here with some Thurio spears, very nice support unit with cavalry. A Persian light archer, and some Eastern javelins over here. Interesting, trying to maybe pick at this flank. And then there are some mercenary Scythian horse archers. We've got 3 of those. So that's going to provide some very nice light cavalry skirmishing elements. So we can see Bactria already aiming to kind of pick at the flanks of Sparta. Sparta's skirmishers are all facing forward. Bactria continues to fall back with its main line and try and push more of an envelopment strategy, or at least it would appear. I like the use of Tarentine cavalry here. The Tarentines have shields, and they're going to be able to try and get close to those horse archers. They're a little bit slower because they're medium missile cavalry, but they're going to be better in melee. And right there, they did get a few javelins off. Javelin's very deadly against other horses, but this Thurio spear can easily screen off the Tarentines. And the horse archers do have far better range. Obviously, it's difficult to hurl a javelin as far as one might typically shoot an arrow. Over here, we've got some Spartan hoplites driving back the Thurio spears. They do not want any part of that engagement. However, the Spartan hoplites probably shouldn't get themselves too extended, because when they turn around to come back to their own line here, they're likely to take some very heavy damage from all these units. But they are pushing, and pushing hard over here on the left. Looks like some of the Tarentine cavalry just kind of hanging back. The Scythian horse archers are making some encirclement overtures here. We'll see what becomes of that. So Sparta has turned some of its Gorgos skirmishers to the flank to be prepared to pick at these Eastern javelinmen and Persian light archers. Wow, these Spartans are pushing really hard against Bactria on the left. They've even got some citizen cavalry and Tarentine cavalry coming to back it up, so there's a heavy move here. However, if all that cavalry moves, it's going to leave the Spartans dangerously exposed to the mercenary Scythians and their own citizen cavalry, so they might want to not send everything in that direction. The Gorgos skirmishers take all their shots at the Thurio spears. It's an interesting pick, while the Perioikoi spears are receiving some unwanted love from the Eastern javelins and Persian light archers. So interesting, both players picking at each other's infantry at the moment rather than trying to take out the skirmishers of the other ones. So we'll kind of see where that goes. It could just be that they're sending orders elsewhere. This Spartan is a very heavy infantry. It says super heavy spear infantry. They're not going to like running around like this chasing units. It's going to get them very worn out, and it's certainly going to have an impact on their melee potential if they end up in combat. Look at this. We do have a charge coming in here from the mercenary Scythian horse, or Mercithians, whatever I was about to say. Finally, we do get a melee engagement here. Some Spartan hoplites catching a Levy pike that wasn't quite in formation. I don't think the Levy pike's going to like that. However, it could lead to a good countercharge by the thorax swords. We'll have to keep an eye out. The citizen cavalry did go all in, and it is going to get a very nice piece of these Helot Slingers, though it will pay with its life, almost certainly. So that must be a trade that Bactria feels comfortable with, or they just got stuck with. This Bactrian Light Horse looked like it was going to make kind of a charge here, but there's really nowhere for it to go. It's massively outclassed, so I imagine Bactria is going to continue to fall back on its right hand, and it's pushing the engagement on its left side. Sparta reacting here. That Citizen Cavalry did take a beating. The Helot Slinger was not routed. This Thurio Spear, though, got pretty cooked. And this Spartan Hoplite is now laying into these Thorax Swords. There's another Spartan Hoplite, but they're also being surrounded. But there's plenty of reinforcements here. There's a Perioikoi Pikeman. Didn't catch this one earlier, so this is Sparta's own type of pike unit. It's kind of a medium pike unit. May call them heavy. It calls them heavy, but whatever the case is, they're different than the Perioikoi Spears because they fight with the Sarissa, of course. Ooh, the Armored Elephants there making a gesture. They wanted a piece of those Spartan Hoplites, and the Spartan Hoplites were forming up. Forming up won't do much. I think the real reason the Elephants ran away is the Tarentine Cavalry, and those Tarentines may want to hold on to their ammunition. Because you don't want to run out of ammunition and then have to try and deal with Elephants in melee. It is not a place where you want to be in life. A lot of engagements going on here. I'm trying to catch all of it. This Citizen Cavalry over here, caught by a Perioikoi Spear. These Eastern Javelins kind of rolling around. I don't know if they still have ammunition. They probably do. A nice slinger volley here into the mercenary Scythian Horse Archers. Boy, that is a mouthful sometimes. The Spartans are not loving this engagement, and this elephant charge is coming, and it's because it was screened. The Citizen Cavalry sacrificed to push back the Tarentines and allow the Indian Armored General to come in here and absolutely lay the hammer down on these Spartan Hoplites. However, there is a little bit of javelin fire coming in, and they did go out of control. So the Indian Armored Elephant General is out of control at the moment, and if the Spartans are able to bring more to bear, they could do something about it. However, their infantry all routed out of fear and damage there. A Tarentine Cavalry charged forward over here and caught 2 units of Eastern Javelins. And those guys, I don't know if they still had ammo. If they didn't, then that may not have been worth the time, but we'll see. Looks like the Heroes of Sparta here. These are, I believe, one of the strongest hoplite units in the game. And they are over here fighting some Levy Pikes and mixed up in here with some Citizen Cavalry, which is on top of the Gorgo Skirmishers. A lot of skirmish fire coming in over here on the Sparta's right flank, Bactrian left flank. Looks like Sparta's doing fine over here on their own left flank. Trying to get a feel for what's happening here. The Royal Spartans are pretty much untouched. I don't think a Thorax Sword would do great against a Royal Spartan, but that Royal Spartan is going to have to be very, very careful of this Indian Armored Elephant. I don't see the Tarentine Cavalry in a position ready to support at the moment against the Elephants, and the Elephants are once again making a move. There are some Heroes of Sparta. These guys are a little bit exposed over here. There are Helot Archers and Helot Slingers nearby, though. Yeah, there comes the shots. Those Elephants need to get back. Some nice rear shots. There's a Perioikoi Spear. Oh, and they have Javelins. Oh, they hammered that Elephant unit. But now the Elephant's going to go bananas. And it looks like the Stampede was used here, which will increase their charge significantly. But, I mean, this is a tough unit to get into a melee with, the Royal Spartans. But look at the Spartans just dropping like flies to that Armored Elephant. They cause tremendous damage against infantry. This is, I mean, regardless of the fact that they hold a spear and they're anti-large, you do not want your heavy infantry mixed up with Armored Elephants in any way. What you do want is like this, where the archers are shooting at them and keeping them out of control. But the Spartan general is likely to die in this assault. The Elephant has killed over half of the enemy general. That is a brutal result. However, the Indian Armored Elephants are out of control and taking massive damage. So it looks like that Iraklis is just dropping his leadership abilities on it to just go ahead and make it stronger and see if it can finish off these units while it's berserking. And it's doing a pretty darn good job of it. It's got 331 kills, and that's considerable value. Looks like the Spartans, though, mop up the Eastern Javelins. There are quite a few Thorax Swords left. But again, Thorax Swords, they're not going to be amazing against these really heavily armored hoplites, and the hoplites aren't going to be amazing against the Thorax Swords. Neither unit really deals a whole lot of armor-piercing damage, though the Thorax Swordsmen typically speaking, do have better like melee attack. I say that the Heroes of Sparta are the obvious exception there, but typically you don't get, like, even if you have decent melee attack, which you do on some of these Spartan units, they don't deal a lot of damage. But again, the Heroes of Sparta are a bit of an exception. However, the Royal Spartans actually have the best spear. The Heroes of Sparta have excellent attack. They don't have that same spear. I think it'd be cool if they had the same spear that the Royal Spartans did. I feel like hoplites just don't deal quite enough damage in battle. They would have to probably rejigger some of their other stats, like maybe drop their defense a little or something like that. But I would personally like it if hoplites dealt a little more damage in combat. The idea that a big hoplon spear wouldn't cause as much damage as like a Greek short sword, it just seems weird to me. Like, I'm sure the spear would cause every bit as much damage. I know it's just a matter of them trying to pick and balance units. I get that. But like I said, maybe it just, would be better. Look at this. This Tarentine cavalry is going all in for these Scythian horse archers. It's going to catch one. And it will beat them in melee. These elephants are brutal right now. They've got 410 kills. And those Tarentine cavalry are actually, they may be out of javelins. But, if you don't have missiles left, elephants are near unstoppable. They are very difficult to stop. There is a Perioikoi spear out here. This Hero of Sparta really bossing it out, but they are completely outnumbered. And this is exactly what you should do with elephants. You should ping-pong them between targets. They do all their damage mostly on the charge. And they're getting some very nice damage done. So, a very expensive unit, a high-risk, high-reward unit, and that reward is paying out right now for the Indian Armored Elephants. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that they've basically turned this battle. I don't see any way Sparta can bring this one back. They are outnumbered at this point and outgunned in terms of just damage potential here. Those elephants might rack up 500 kills before it's all said and done. Heroes of Sparta, again, very tough unit, though. Very tough unit. It's just that I think it's probably too little, too late, obviously, for the Heroes of Sparta to be able to pull that one back. Here comes the Perioikoi spears. If they have any javelins left that they could discharge at this Indian Armored Elephant, that would be huge. Though I'm not sure they do. And yeah, see, this Hero of Sparta has taken so much damage against the elephants that it's questionable whether they could even win this fight. They do have spectacular melee attack at the moment. Much better than the Thorax Sword, but again, they just don't deal a lot of damage to armor, and you've got quite a lot of armor on that Thorax Sword. The elephants, though, are over 500 kills, and they are going to finish this one, whether the Spartans like it or not. The Bactrians will no doubt take a fair number of prisoners back to their city, where they have their own bottomless pit, and they will scream, "This is Bactria," while kicking the Spartans down the pit. So I'm at least 95% certain that that's going to happen, and that it's historically accurate, by the way. I saw it in a movie once. Excellent battle. This was a fun one. So kind of a Greek Eastern faction mixed with Bactria, with a straight Greek faction here with Sparta. A really fun matchup. This time it is going to go in favor of Greek Iraklis. James was not able to pull out the win with Sparta, but a fun pick nonetheless, and there was some good gameplay on both sides of that battle. And obviously there's some mistakes that were made on both sides, but ultimately this elephant that is tremendous damage and value. There was a lot of expensive infantry units. Now, what could he have done to counter the armored elephants? The main dangers to the armored elephants here are the Tarentine cavalry and the Perioikoi spears. Those units are absolutely lethal to elephants, absolutely lethal. And so you'll notice that Iraklis with his Bactria was making sure that he tried to only bring those elephants to bear once those units were not a threat. And that's the way you have to play. You have to be very patient with your elephant play. You can't get in too much of a hurry, and you have to know which units do I have to screen out. So, like, for instance, I don't know if you all remember it, but Bactria sacrificed that horse unit, for instance, to push the Tarentines out of that fight and allow the elephants to come in and do their damage. So that kind of stuff is obviously very important when it comes to using elephants. Take a look at some of the key players here. There's actually really spectacular kills on these Thorax Swords. 2 of them did extremely well. And the combat, much better than I thought they would have. This Heroes of Sparta, though, was owning at 236 kills. There was 238 just on this Tarentine cavalry, so it must have gotten a hold of a lot of skirmishers. So well done there. Another Hero of Sparta. You can see that they have high melee attack, because they are certainly capable of getting some kills. This poor general, though, the Spartan general, he did go down in a blaze of glory in battle, so he was given the option, obviously, before battle with his wife saying, come home with the shield or upon it. He ended up coming home upon it, but, she gave him 2 options, and he picked one, so hopefully she'll be happy with him. In any case, hope you all enjoyed this one. Appreciate the battle. Thank you, James. Thanks, Greek Iraklis, and I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War.